Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui, and on this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos every Wednesdays and Saturdays, so if you're into that sort of thing, please make sure to check back on those days to watch new content. If you are a beginner, or if you're a person who just wants to brush up on your skill, I offer online courses. I'll be showing a demo how to make a jumpsuit so that you can watch it and decide if learning online will be convenient for you. In this video I will show you how to make your own bikini. You know the holidays are fast approaching, and it would be nice if what you wear to the pool is custom made. Okay, now for those of you that are in places where it will snow in December, from November to December, like Canada and the US, that's your problem. But down here will come out in December. All right, so make sure you enjoy the video. Have a lovely day. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. You're welcome once again. The most important measurements you need is basically the space between your bust, okay, your nipple to nipple measurement, your bust span. Okay, that's the most important measurement that you will need when you want to make this bikini. Okay, now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to keep 5 inches up here. Okay, now this is just standard procedure. This 5 inches will work for almost anybody, so make a mark at where 5 inches is. Just keep that one first before you start drafting anything. And then from here I want you to measure to place your under bust length measurements. Okay, so now your under bust length, the space from your under bust length to where your bust should be, like if you've watched my other videos, when I want to find where to place my bust, I do my under bust length minus 4. Okay, so here I'm going to come to 4 and I'm going to make a mark. Okay, now I've told you guys that your bust point to bust point, your nipple to nipple measurement is very important. It's at this point that you will place that number. Okay, now my nipple to nipple for this person is 8 inches. 8 divided by 2 is 4, then plus half an inch for sewing. Okay, so that's 4.5. so I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a mark at 4.5 on both places. I'm going to roll a line connecting the two of them together. Okay, and then I need you to take this line all the way up. Okay, place 1 inch under here for allowance. You will need it. Okay, so just make a mark at the bottom there. Now next thing you're going to do is you're going to come to the bottom down here and you're going to mark 1 inch. Okay, and you're going to come, now you've seen the blue line that we're working with. We're coming from the blue line 1 inch here and 1 inch on this other part that we have here. Okay, and when you've done that, I need you to draw a line from here to here. Okay, and from here to here. Okay, and then at the top here too, I need you to do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to keep a space. I'm going to mark 1 inch here from the center. I mark 1 inch the other side. So the distance from here to here is 1 inch, and from here to this other part here is 1 inch. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing I did at the bottom. Okay, now the next step is to create the shape for our bust. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the very bottom. Now what you need to do at the bottom here is simply just take this one here straight down. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from here to here. So now you see the space from here to here is 3.5. I'm going to come here, make a mark at 3.5. okay, so after you've marked from here to here at 3.5, I need you to come here and do the same thing. Make a mark here at 3.5. You see that? So from here to here 3.5, from here to here is 3.5. okay, and then I need you to make a curve. But before we make the curve, we have to reduce this. Now the reason why I said 5 inches is because this size here will work for a person that has super double D's. If you have double D's as X marks, you would use the whole 5 inches. But for a person of this bust size, I'm going to bring this part here down to 4 inches. Okay, I'm going to bring it here down to 4 inches. Now after you have done that, I need you to make a curve from here to the top. You see this? I'm connecting here up here. Okay, and then we're going to connect from here to here. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, and with that we are very close to that we are drawing close to the end of this draft. Now what I want you to do, so I want you to cut here Okay, so what I have here is the fabric that I intend to use when I'm making this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these pieces. So you've seen these pieces here. We're going to need to cut 8 of them. Okay, we're going to need to cut 8 pieces, so we end up with 8 pieces. That means we'll need to cut 4 pieces for each of these sides. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to make a fold. So now you see this, I'm going to place this one on top of here. Now when you place it on top of what you want to cut, you see the outer edge that you have here. Okay, so you see the outer edge that you have here, half an inch. You want to add half an inch of allowance, sewing allowance, to that part right there. I've cut everywhere around here with half an inch, but everywhere else here is exactly the same. I'll cut another 2 sides like this, the same pattern. So now, like I said, you see for this part here, for this part, this is the part that I showed you guys how to cut. You can see we have 4 pieces. Remember, I told you guys that I was going to cut 2 more. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing for this part. You see this other part, remember, now we have 2 sides, one for the front and this other part here. So on this side I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut all of here exactly the same, but the corner here would have half an inch of excess. Okay, so now this is the second side. This is the side we cut before. This is the second side. I'm going to do the same thing. Now, like I said before, I'm going to cut this side. I'm going to cut another shape exactly like this, another pattern exactly like this, using this pattern now. Okay, so now there's a reason sorry, there's a reason why I cut 2 pieces for each side. Okay, that's because, let me show you guys something. Now you see these 2 pieces. Now this is going to form one side of the top part of the bust, and this is going to form the lining for it. Okay, you see that this is going to form the lining for that, and you see this, the same thing is happening here. Okay, you see that these 2 sides here are going to form the top part, and the one underneath will form the lining that is meant for them. Okay, so now the first step is for us to stitch the lining. Okay, so now I have stitched the part that's supposed to be the lining, and I hope you can see, I hope the camera is picking up what's happening. You can notice that here has some curve to it. Okay, now this is the part that's supposed to be the lining. Okay, so let me show you guys, let me tell you guys how I did this. All right, so this part is going to complete here, so let's keep this one aside. Now let's bring this one. Okay, now what I did is pretty simple. Okay, I need to pick up these 2 pieces, and then we are going to sew from here. Okay, I'm going to sew from here around to the top, half an inch. Okay, we're sewing from here to the top at half an inch. I'll be back. Okay, so you can see I have joined from here down half an inch. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, and I'll top stitch. So what I need you to do is I need you to push all the excess to one side, either to the right or to the left. Okay, and then we'll start sewing from the bottom all the way to the top at the center. Okay, and while we are doing that, while we're opening it up and laying it flat, we're going to make sure that any direction that we push this part, so we'll make sure it stays that way. So you push here flat, and then you top stitch on the front here from the bottom to the top. Okay, so you can see here I've done just that. If you notice, we have 2 lines here now. Okay, so you see now here has been stitched down. Now if you want to create a little support, if you know that this is too soft for you, that one level of this is too soft for you, what you can do is you can iron interfacing to this if you wanted to have a bit more support, but I don't need that. So what I'll do is, you see these 2 pieces that are meant for the top, I'm going to join them together. Okay, so the same thing I did to this part I will do to here as well. Okay, so now what I have in my hands is the front part. Okay, so you can see this other side here that has not yet been joined. This is the back. You have only just one line, but I wanted the front to have some sort of decorative stitch. So I really hope that the camera is picking it up, but I hope you can see 2 stitches running down the front instead of 1. Okay, so now let's head over to the sewing machine. Let me show you how I did this stitch, and then we can piece all these parts together. All right, so now this is the front, and like I've told you guys before, we're sewing here together. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do first. 1/2 inch. Now after you have joined here, the next thing you will need to do is you need to open this up, okay, and then you need to flatten this down. So you see this, you're going to need this here to be flat. So I'm going to open it. You see that? Make sure that I'm having hiccups. Make sure that where I'm starting from stays open, and then I'm going to sew from here to the top. So that side is open. You make your first stitch. When you stitch a bit, go underneath, check and see that where you want to stitch next is flat. Do the same thing. Make sure you flatten it. So you can see that's how the front, that's how I got that look of the double stitch in front. Now the other method where you just cut the triangle and put the rope under it, that is cool too, but I feel like this shape gives the bust a bit more, give the bust some support. All right, so that's why I like making mine like this. But I can also show you guys the other methods that are there, how to make the other types that are there. If you guys are interested, just drop your comments in the comment section if you guys want to see more tutorials like this, and if I get a good response, then I'll channel my energies this way. Okay, to the next step. Okay, and with that we are done. Look at what we have here. Don't mind me, I'm just pulling your legs. I will show you how I got to this level. Okay, but you can see this is what we are. This is how each of the bust, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, may God be with you. So first of all, for the strap, okay, this is where we are at, where we stop. The front and back are still separate. We have the 2 stitches on top of here. So now to be able to, the next step is to build the strap. So you see this is 25 inches in length. Okay, this should be just enough for anybody. Now this is the strap that you tie, the strap that will be tied behind your neck to give the bust some support. Okay, so now to start sewing the strap, first of all you will come to the top. When I say 25, it's 25 inches long, okay, and it's 2 inches wide. So the width from here to here is 2 inches, at the end too, from here to here is 2 inches, and the length of it is 25 inches. So from here all the way down to the end, 25 inches. So now we're going to bend the top here by 1/2 inch. After you bend the top by 1/2 inch, you would fold here, okay, and then you would fold here too. Okay, so you fold half and then collapse it in half. So you see the 2 inches is now half. First of all, we folded half and then collapse the whole thing in half. Now we're going to start stitching from here. We're going to go from here all the way down. Okay, so as you go along, you will need to continue to adjust the strap, so watch closely. Now the next step is to join these 2 pieces together. So you see this is the front and this is supposed to be the lining for it. So now I'm going to turn this. You see them, I've now kept them front facing front, so the side that has the pattern is facing the side that has the pattern. Now remember, we're going to need to sew around the whole thing 1/2 inch. So we're coming from here and we're going to stitch 1/2 inch. So now you can see from the joining I have here that we are close to the middle. All right, so when you're getting very close to the middle, what you want to do is split in the middle. Can you do it? Split in the middle, do a split in the middle, split in the middle. We're going to take this part here and we're going to put it in the middle. Okay, so we're going to put here in the center, and then I'm going to stitch on top of it. So you see that right where we have the joining, both at the bottom, on the top and at the bottom, okay, that's where I'm putting the strap, and I'm putting the rough edge of the strap inside here. You guys remember there's a part of the edge that I sealed at the top. I didn't seal this part here. So now when you're done with that, okay, the next step is to turn everything inside out. So make sure you really turn the sides out. I'm going to take this to the table and I'm going to iron everything completely flat. So alright, so now you can see I've turned it inside out and I've ironed it. Now the next step is we need to, I want this, you see these 2 stitches I have on top, I want it to continue everywhere around the bust. So now I'm going to sew from here all the way around. I've simply just stopped stitching, but this is doing more of a decorative function. The first line is maybe functional, you know, maybe because it holds the sides like this permanently out, but the second stitch I would make is purely decorative. So you see that now we've gone around. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the bottom here with my overlocker. I'm simply just running from here to here with my weaving machine. Okay, I'm going to go from here to here with my overlocker to make sure that the bottom part is neat. Okay, so you can see the bottom part here has like the black weaving at the bottom. Now if you guys remember when we're drafting, we kept 1 inch at the end here, and I said that we will need it for hemming. So now what I need you to do is, because we have used our overlocker, we don't necessarily need to bend this 2 times as we're hemming this, okay? Because we don't want that part there to be bulky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply turn this, okay? I'm folding this part here by that 1 inch that I kept when I was drafting. I'm going to now run from here to the bottom, holding the 1 inch. The first stitch I'm making now is holding that 1 inch in place. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make another stitch. The second stitch I'm making now is purely decorative. Alright, so after this, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need to make a strap. Now you guys remember that when I was telling you guys the measurements that were important, I also mentioned the underbust round, but we have not used the underbust round. That's because we didn't need it then, but now we need it, because to be able to cut the rope, you see this hole that we've made at the bottom. If you guys notice, because of that 1 inch that we bent, there's now a tunnel, okay, that will allow a rope to pass through it on both sides of the bra that we are making. Okay, now the reason why we needed the underbust round is because we need to know how long the rope that will pass through here should be. Okay, now the rope that we are the underbust round that we're dealing with is 30 inches, so I'm going to cut the rope with 20 inches of excess, meaning that the length of the rope that will pass through here will be 50 inches, but the rope will be made similarly to how this rope here at the top was made. Okay, so let me go and cut 51 inches by 2. Okay, 51 inches because we bend ½ inch on both sides. Okay, so you see this is what I have here. Okay, so look at the top part here has already been folded. It's very similar to how we did that the straps for the top part. And then also look at the length of it. Okay, so this is the 50 inches I've also folded down here as well. Okay, so now what I'm going to simply do is I'm going to hem from here all the way down. So now when you're done with making the strap, next thing is to pass it through. Okay, so identify the center, which I have. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to simply pass. Okay, and then the next step is to now pass this one through. Okay, we'll have to put these straps through the hole. And that is that on that. We are done. So make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you like the video. I will see you guys in the next class. Bye bye.